We take the ground beneath our feet for granted. It feels solid, stable, and still. But this is a lie. Right now, you are moving faster than a bullet. The Earth spins at the equator at about 1,000 miles per hour. That's 1,600 kilometers per hour. That is twice the speed of a cruising commercial jet. But because everything around you, the atmosphere, the trees, the ground, is moving at the same speed, you don't feel a thing. It's a seamless ride through the cosmos. Until suddenly, it isn't. What if we slammed the brakes? What if Earth just stopped? The results would be messy. If the Earth stopped instantly, it would be the worst car crash in history. While the solid ground stops, everything else keeps moving due to momentum. And we mean everything. At the equator, everything that isn't bedrock is suddenly launched east at 1,000 miles per hour. That includes the ocean, the atmosphere, rocks, buildings, and you. Unless, like Newton, you are wearing high-grade magnetic boots. In which case, you won't fly away. You will just be turned into jelly. The sudden deceleration exerts a force that would likely liquefy your bones instantly. But let's assume you survive the initial jerk. You are now standing in a supersonic wind tunnel. The atmosphere didn't stop with the planet. It's still rotating at super speed. This creates winds faster than the shockwave of an atomic bomb. These winds would scar the surface of the Earth clean. Anything not anchored to the bedrock is now a supersonic projectile. Human civilization would be flattered in mere seconds. But wait, it gets worse. Friction. The friction between the supersonic wind and the ground would generate massive heat. Massive firestorms would erupt globally. So, if the wind doesn't shred you, the heat will cook you. Let's travel away from the equator. Maybe it's safer there. The closer you are to the poles, the slower the spin was. In London, you're only flying at 600 miles per hour. Still fatal, but less fatal. Within a few minutes, the friction of the wind against the Earth creates drag. The winds would eventually slow down, but the destruction is done. Now we have to deal with the water. Remember centrifugal force. It's why Earth is chubby in the middle. The spin pushes water toward the equator, creating a bulge about 8 km high. Without spin, that force vanishes. Gravity takes over. The oceans would rush toward the poles, where gravity is effectively stronger. A mega tsunami kilometers high, moving at incredible speeds. Newton run. The northern and southern hemispheres would be completely flooded. Meanwhile, the equator becomes dry land, a massive supercontinent. The Atlantic and Pacific Oceans are now two separate polar seas. The air would follow the water, thinning out at the equator. So if you survived the wind and the fire at the equator, you would now suffocate from a lack of oxygen. But the air thinning isn't your biggest problem. Your biggest problem is invisible and hates your DNA. Deep inside the Earth, the spinning liquid iron core acts like a dynamo. It creates a magnetic field that shields us from the sun. No spin, no dynamo, no magnetic field. Suddenly, the Earth is bombarded by cosmic rays and solar wind. Newton, put your helmet back on. Without the field, the ozone layer would be stripped away. You would be exposed to lethal doses of UV radiation instantly. Electronic devices would fry. Satellites would fail. Even the northern lights would be gone. Actually, they might be everywhere for a brief moment before we all die. So, assuming you have a lead-lined bunker and an oxygen supply. Let's talk about the weather. If Earth stops spinning, a day is no longer 24 hours. The Earth would still orbit the Sun. This means one day would now last a full year. You would have 6 months of scorching daylight, followed by 6 months of freezing darkness. Let's start with the day side. Without the rotation to cycle the heat, the sun just stays there for months. Temperatures would soar well above 100 degrees Celsius. The oceans on the day side would boil away. Massive hurricanes would transport this hot steam to the night side. Newton, you're roasting, you need to move. But don't go too far. Welcome to the night side. Here, the sun hasn't risen for months. Temperatures drop to 50, maybe 100 degrees Celsius. The oceans here have frozen into a solid sheet of ice. Even the atmosphere would start to freeze and rain down as liquid oxygen. So, the day side is an oven. The night side is a freezer. Is there anywhere left to live? Yes, the Terminator. Not the robot, the Twilight Zone. This is the thin strip of land between the burning day and frozen night. Here, the temperature might be bearable. But it's not a permanent home. Remember, the Earth is still orbiting the Sun. The safe zone is constantly moving. You would have to be a nomad, forever chasing the sunset. No cities, no internet, no stopping. If you stop, you freeze or you burn. And you're not alone. Every surviving animal and human would be crammed into this narrow strip. The competition for resources would be brutal. It's a permanent battle royale in the twilight. So, life is possible. But is it worth it? Just when you thought it couldn't get worse, look up. The moon is acting weird. Normally, Earth's fast spin pushes the moon slightly away from us every year. Without spin, that push is gone. The moon is now falling towards us. Slowly at first, then faster. Before it hits, Earth's gravity would tear the moon apart. Earth would get a beautiful, deadly ring system made of moon rocks. A constant meteor shower that would vaporize whatever life is left. Okay, this new reality sucks. We need to fix it. We have to spin the Earth back up. To do that, we need energy. A lot of energy. Roughly the total energy output of the entire human race for the next billion years. All delivered in one push. Perhaps we could strap giant rockets to the equator. Newton, do the honors. Three, two, one. The rockets fire. The crust immediately rips itself apart. Yeah, that didn't work. We destroyed what was left. The good news is, Earth won't stop spinning. It has too much momentum. It will keep spinning for billions of years. Until the sun swallows it. But that's a problem for another video. Our planet's spin is the engine of life. It protects us, warms us, and gives us rhythm. It's a delicate balance that we should probably appreciate more. Because if it stops, the ride is over. Every day, we're surrounded by headlines, fast, loud, and often incomplete. But the real story of our universe lies underneath. In atoms too small to see, and systems too big to fully grasp. This channel exists to explore those ideas. To slow things down, connect the dots, and explain the science shaping our future. If you're curious about how the world really works, you're already part of the journey. If you enjoy science explained clearly, subscribe to the channel. If this episode changed how you think, leave a like and share it with someone curious like you. And if there's a question you want explored next, write it in the comments.